पॉलिसी बाजार पर 1 करोड़ रुपए का टर्म लाइफ इंश्योरेंस केवल 450 रुपए महीने से शुरू। वाव!
For the first time, foreign universities will be able to set up their campuses in India. The University Grants Commission has released draft regulations for setting up and the operation of campuses of foreign higher educational institutions. This is a huge move in India. It affects lakhs of students. It will eventually. Many of these students would have studied abroad. Some would have ended up settling abroad. But the key question is this: will a foreign university in India guarantee a better quality education? Will the cost of education be very high? And what about the process of admissions? Joining us now, a very special guest, very much the man at the center of this entire move, M Jagadesh Kumar, Chairperson of the University Grants Commission. Always a pleasure to speak to you, sir. Thanks very much for being with us. So what I thought we do is let's go through really basic questions, because there are so many students who want basic answers to basic questions. So the first question that I think a lot of people would have is this: will foreign universities in India be very expensive? What would the answer be to that?
Vishnu, currently our students have only two choices. Either you stay in India and study in an Indian institution, or you go abroad and study in a foreign university. But now with these new regulations, we are providing an additional choice to the students. You stay in India but study in a foreign university. The main objective of our national education policy is to provide more freedom and more choices to our students to choose their education. Therefore, this move of UGC to bring for the first time in India a regulation which facilitates the opening of campuses by the foreign higher educational institutions is in complete tune with the objectives of the national education policy.
Sure.
So
and the question of cost, sir?
You see, in 2022 alone, nearly 4.5 lakh students, they went abroad for higher studies. And there are many more students who may like to go to a foreign university for higher education, but they may not have the financial means, or other family reasons may not permit them to go. So that's the reason why when these campuses are established by the foreign higher educational institutions, many of them will have the opportunity to study in these campuses. Now, when it comes to the expenses, whenever students go abroad, they have two kinds of expenses. One is the huge living expenses, and the other one, of course, is the tuition fees that these universities charge. But if our students study in India, the living expenses will be minimal. And then, will the foreign universities charge exorbitantly high tuition fees? Ultimately, Vishnu, our Indian students are conscious of the quality of education and its affordability. If the foreign higher educational institutions charge very high fees, then obviously they will not be able to attract too many Indian students. Therefore, this will act as a self-regulatory mechanism for the foreign higher educational institutions to fine-tune their tuition fee structure so that they will be able to attract large number of students into their campuses.
So, Professor, I think, just so that we finish this particular aspect of this conversation, I think it's important to bring up a graphic on Indian versus foreign universities and the total costs, because this is where students, so let's try and have that graphic up. I've just picked a handful of universities. In terms of top US colleges for a 4-year undergraduate degree, Yale costs 2.85 crore rupees, Harvard 1.8 crore rupees. Top UK universities for a 3-year undergraduate degree, Oxford at 1.32 crores, Cambridge at 1.5 crore rupees. A top Indian private university for a 3-year undergraduate program is, for example, Ashoka University at 33.2. A top Indian engineering college, again an undergraduate degree, IIT Delhi as an example, between 10 and 12 lakh rupees. And a top Indian college with a 3-year undergraduate degree, I've taken an example, LSR, Lady Shriram. This includes accommodation, sir, and boarding, lodging, food, all of it, and education, 53,748 rupees. So, sir, the gap is incredible from 53,748 rupees. I'm not saying that that's by any means the cheapest or the least expensive, to Yale abroad at say 2.85 crore rupees. So again, that question is, where would a foreign degree in India fit? Where in the spectrum?
Well, one way of looking at these numbers is to see the gap. The other way of looking at these numbers is there is a diversity in terms of the tuition fee structure. And each university has its own statutory bodies to decide at what level these tuition fees have to be fixed. So therefore, UGC will not get into whether it's an Indian university or a foreign university. UGC will not get into fixing the tuition fees. But
sure.
However, we are also conscious of the fact that even in many of the international universities where you said the fee structure is very high, they do give both partial and full scholarships.
That's true.
Based on the need, using an evaluation process. And our regulation very clearly says that using an evaluation process, need-based partial and full scholarships may be given. So therefore, the needs of some of the students who may not be financially sound will also be met through this class.
Okay. Next question, sir. Will foreign universities in India have the same quality of education as universities abroad?
We are very conscious of this fact, and that's the reason why we are not letting in any foreign university into our country. We have said that only those universities which are within the top 500 world university rankings are eligible. But just eligibility doesn't mean that they will get into the country. There will be a standing committee of the UGC which will examine the quality of education and the reputation of these universities before they are given permission in the country. And also the clauses in the regulation clearly mention that the quality of education imparted in the Indian campuses should be on par with the quality of education offered in the main campus. And UGC will have the right to inspect the quality of education imparted in these campuses. And these universities also have to submit a report at the time of renewal, a third-party evaluation on the quality of the education offered in these campuses.
Okay. Next question, sir. Will foreign universities in India have high international rankings? I ask this because despite having areas of excellence in India, for example, at a different level, the IIMs, but for example, the Indian Institute of Science is absolutely world class in so many respects. There are other areas of excellence, but still, when it comes to global rankings, there are all sorts of reasons why we aren't in the top. So therefore, if we have foreign universities in India, would it necessarily mean that Indian students are part of an internationally high-ranked university or college?
So, Vishnu, let me also clear it that we are not establishing foreign universities in our country. We are letting a foreign university, a highly reputed foreign university, to establish their campus in India. The educational standards will be on par with the main campus, and this campus will be part of the main campus in the host country. Therefore, when the main campus institution gets world ranking, this campus also will be part of that institution. So this campus is not going to be rated separately.
Okay, so whatever the international ranking is presently, and the different matrix for this, that
Right.
would apply over here as well. Just generally speaking, sir, do you believe that there is a huge interest among foreign universities to set up branches over here? Would you have any rough number that you can share with us? This obviously, will be examined, but what is the interest is my question at the moment.
See, just as it is happening in the other sectors of investment that is taking place in India, because India is home to 20% of the world population. India is an aspirational country with a huge number, almost 2/3 of the young people. And India is one of the largest educational system in the world, with nearly 300 million students from class 1 to PhD and nearly 40 million students in the higher education. So the universities across the world they see a great opportunity here to tap this potential. And we are in discussion with a number of universities. A few universities from Europe are already ready to establish their campuses here. And whenever the foreign delegations come to India and visit UGC, when we discuss about this possibility of establishing a campus in India, there is a huge interest to see this as an important possibility for their universities.
Okay. So, Professor, next point. Will foreign universities in India make college admission less competitive? It's incredibly difficult now to get into great universities. You've now got more seats, so physically that's bound to make a difference.
Right.
So how is that going to work? Does that mean that a large number of students who may otherwise be great students but haven't scored 99.9% average will get a chance at a quality education that they seek, that they aspire for?
Well, the admission process is entirely up to the foreign higher educational institution. And whatever admission process that they are using in the main campus in the host country, they may like to adopt, or they may like to introduce some changes considering the large number of students who may apply to these campuses. So it is entirely left to the institution. UGC doesn't come into the admission process.
Next point, sir, and I think this is important. We, I won't use the word lose, but we end up having any number of bright young Indians travel abroad. They desire a foreign education. Many of them don't come back. Many of them stay on. By having a foreign degree or degree that these students aspire for in India, do we as a nation stand to benefit from less of a brain drain?
Well, we benefit from the Indians who live abroad also. There is a large Indian diaspora across the world, and we are all very proud of our Indians contributing to the well-being of the world. Having said that, the students who work, who study in Indian campuses, they live closer to their families. There is that social bonding that will be there. And when students go abroad, the travel costs are prohibitively very large, so they may not be able to come frequently. But at least here, just as they go home during vacation in any Indian institute, here also they can go. So I see that social aspect of our students staying here closer to their families. And now you see many Indians are also coming back to India to work in large number of multinational companies. So I don't see any reason why the Indian students who go abroad will not come here, or why the Indian students who study in foreign institutions here will not work, will not stay back in our countries, contributing to the economic development of our country.